Please take your seat. The chair recognizes Representative Springer on a matter of personal privilege. All members, please take your seats.
Members, I always thought my personal privilege speech was my last speech. The time I was ready to call it quits and go home. I get up here enough, figured I'd talk a bunch. And I know we're all disappointed tonight. We're all disappointed. I've got HB 1936, several pages down, that I didn't hold any hope out really for that pro-life bill to really probably make it, and I'd come to peace with that. And I'd had several bills, and probably more than my fair share this session. But I really had one bill that I regret that I was not the member that filed. That's the very next bill, HB 810 by Dan Parker. Dan and I have probably a unique brotherhood in the fact that we're both privileged to be married to two beautiful women, so beautiful in the heart, and both so challenged physically. And they've held out hope, and they've struggled. But a lot of times most people don't know it because they both have been very successful women. But we have a chance tonight in this chamber to hear HB 10. It wasn't anywhere near towards where most of us probably predicted the end of the calendar would have been. What it deals with is stem cell research. You can go to Panama and pay a bunch of money and maybe do these things, but there's some folks right here in Southlake, Texas, and DFW, North Texas, have done some remarkable things. Might give somebody like my wife a chance to walk. Maybe a high school football player that y'all know. I know TCU had a gentleman named Kent Walter, broke his neck playing against Alabama. Maybe it'd help Kent just have a little bit more use of his arms to be able to breathe a little easier. Maybe my wife wouldn't walk, but there's a whole lot of struggles, and I hear an awful lot of people in this chamber talk about those with disabilities, and us trying to do things to help them. But I'll be damned if we don't have the chance tonight to hear the very next bill that opens up the doors of medical science to be able to be done right here in the state of Texas. And I understand that other people are mad that their stuff hadn't been heard, but I'll tell you what, I'd trade every one of my bills I've passed, every single one of them, to get the chance to hear HB 10. Because I pray to God every time I go to Mass, every time I close my eyes, that one day my wife, and not for my sake, but for her sake, I have the chance to have that opportunity again, to be able to walk, to be able to come down. You're good. You're good. And members, I understand. Sometimes we have to look past our own frustrations, and we got to look for the bigger picture. And what are we doing for the state of Texas? And by stopping this next bill, it's just, and I know, I'm going to apologize to Representative Stickland. He probably didn't know why I was so upset when I tried to talk to Representative Shaheen and just ask him a simple question to say, is there any way that we can just let this next bill get up? I didn't want to do this. I'm not looking for this attention. I'm just looking for a solution. And I've grasped at straws, and I pray to God. And I know that's what and when I really think deep down in our heart, the most moving things I've heard from each and every one of you is when you talk from your heart, whether it's Ken talking about ovarian cancer or so many other causes that we've heard. I mean, those are the kind of things that really move us. It's not about cutting taxes. It's not about, A through F or those. It's what we do that really, really impacts Texans, making their lives easier and better. And removing some of the burdens. And there's not every day that we have that chance to do that. This is one of those days. And to know that we're minutes away from that being the possibility. And I know it's every member's right, and I understand the rules, and I know we can do some different things to probably even move this along. And, I thought about doing it the other way. I could easily went around and try to talk 25 into you and said, this is so important to me, will you please call this to question so we can get to the next bill, and then call that bill to question, and then I could have just gone home. and did it, but I respected what some of the other members said about the process. You know, we don't want to set that precedence of overriding people when they really have objections. But that being said, I want to use this time in my speech. And when I ride off into the sunset, I'll count this as my final speech. And you'll never hear from me, hopefully, ever again from personal privilege. But members, I'm asking you if there's any way we can move to get to 8, 10, and be able to help these Texans that are struggling for so many different things, not just stem cells. I mean, from stem cells, but not just spinal cord injuries. I mean, MS and so many other different things. This is so promising. And Dr. Bonin knows so much about this science, and Tan. And I know Doc Anderson was in the deal and heard the magnificent thing these people are doing and the opportunities we have to give to Texans. And it's right in front of us. And to know that the apple is so close and I can't grab it just... So members, please, if you can find it in your heart, I would appreciate it if we could move a little bit forward tonight. Thank you.